Hello everyone, this is Persephone, and if you clicked on this video because you are the victim of a narcissist, please hear me out. I'm going to share what happened to me, and I'm going to tell you what you can do that is going to have over 90% chance of destroying your narcissist sometime down the road. So my channel was originally named Revenge because I was an extremely vengeful person. I still am in some ways, and I was sick and tired of being raised and being surrounded all of my life around people who didn't give me the right to have my own feelings, to have my own opinions, to have my own mind, and people who just used me, exploited me over and over and over, emotionally, financially, sexually, you name it. That's a form of exploitation that had happened to me. So after years of therapy and after years of reading all of the traditional advice, and 99% was crap that didn't work, I came up with my own methods that actually did work. And I'm going to share the latest discovery I made and how it inspired me to make this video to help other people going through the same. Okay, so if you don't know me, I had an ex that he was also a YouTuber that failed alongside with everything else that he has done in his life, but I know it was his biggest dream to be a YouTuber because I found a post where he said I would kill to have 20,000 views per video. Usually he had, 200 views, 2,000, I don't even care. But he wasn't successful in the sense of he never managed to be a YouTube partner, he never managed to make money off of YouTube. Okay, that's important, we keep it here. So that ex was also married, and that's not a part of my life that I'm proud of, but I own up to my mistakes. I was also in a total garbage marriage with another narcissistic man-child, so we originally started as friends. He started to confide in me, I was talking to him about my failed marriage, and during that time it felt like I had a very good friend, someone that I can actually talk to about what's going on in my life and get support and so on. Unfortunately, this person was a failed predator in more ways than once, and to make a long story short, he's a closeted homosexual in an arranged marriage with a woman, and he was actually trying to use me in some kind of online beard, like to make it seem that he's involved with a white woman online. This is like so embarrassing, and looking back, I'm like, oh my god, what the hell were you thinking? But during the time, I didn't know anything. I didn't know he was a homosexual. I have nothing against gay people, by the way, or the LGBTQ community. My only problem is with exploitation. Like, using someone as a beard is not cool. If you want to be in the closet, be in the closet, but please leave other people out of it, okay? So, what was happening at that time is that I was under the delusion. You know how narcissists love bomb you, how they say that you are the greatest. He has told me you are the greatest I've ever met. You are my only hope in this world. You are the person that I consider an equal in terms of IQ and so on. You know how they love bomb you. So I started to think that if we're so cool together, why can't we be together, right? And I'm saying that because I've seen a lot of people who struggle with narcissistic shame, that when you are involved with a narcissist, you may do things that they're completely out of your character. So I got really pissed off, and he started to use his wife to triangulate me over and over and over. Now you're going to say, why would he use his wife in an arranged marriage and he wouldn't use someone else, since he also claimed that his wife is ugly, that she stinks, that she wears the same clothes for a week, that she has let herself go and is fat, and fat shaming here, because he was so repulsive to other women that no other woman wanted him, so he couldn't use any other woman to triangulate me with. And that woman was actually, I don't know what was happening, but you know how it is with narcissists, they abuse everyone. So at some point, after my job was done and after people believed that no, he's not gay because he had a problem with it, he decided to discard me. And he did it in a way of trying to make me look like I was a stalker, that there was nothing ever going on between us, and pretty much ruining my reputation. So because I'm a person that I don't just sit back and let people walk all over me, I had decided that, you know something, I'm going to hit two birds with one stone, and I'm going to tell his wife about what he's doing online. So I took several screenshots, because when he was abusive, he was also alternating on threatening to kill me or saying I'm going to come and strangle you in a passion crimes and some other bottom-feeding shit. And I sent all of those things to his family on Facebook. Yes, I'm a stalker. No, sometimes stalking is very good and can save you from being strangled and thrown into a trash can. So to make a long story short, that's what I knew up to the time. That was like 3 years ago. To make a long story short, he wrote an extremely humiliating public letter about me where he said that his wife knew all about me, she had no problem because they are madly in love and she doesn't care. And he told me, you are nothing, you'll never be anything, and I was never into you and I only wanted your money. And during that time, years ago, I was so devastated, and all of that to be public and our common fan base to see it, and like, oh my God, total humiliation. And you know how it is that when you have actually been dumped or broken up with a narcissist, and I think where you are involved with those people, it doesn't matter that much if you are dumped or if you are forced to break up because his behavior was so atrocious that I couldn't stay in contact with someone like that. You tend to be believing the like dog vomit they're serving you. That I was actually in such a bad place that I was believing that he's actually in love with his wife, and I was so mad. I tried to, like, I made videos about here that they're still on my old versions, like old parts of my channel, that I called her horrible things, even insect at some point. And life moved on, and I decided that I'm going to become better at YouTube and in life in general. I'm going to excel in life and do all of these things that this person cannot do. And first it was for anger, then it was on the bargaining stage that he's going to see how great I am and I'm going to get him back. And after that, it was because I actually started having fans, I actually started having supporters, and I continued out of respect for those people who took time out of their lives to watch me. And time passed, I slowly lost interest in that person, because when you're trying to actually grow a business online and work on yourself and all of that stuff, you can't be just stalking all day and moping around all day and obsessing. And boom, around a week before this video, I found out his Reddit account where he's saying what's really happening with his wife. And he was, of course, playing the victim, like in narcissistic abuse. The narcissist is always the big victim and everyone else is the bad guy. He was saying that he told his wife about the affair. I found out about one very big lie, that he was claiming that he has a good sex life with his wife, and on that place he was writing that he's married for 13 years and his wife couldn't get him off once. That's still, like, I don't know how can that be possible, but I'm just saying it. And he said that he was begging his wife for any kind of attention and affection and she didn't care. So eventually, when he wrote all of those things with me online to embarrass her, he told her what he was doing. And he said, I don't know if it was guilt or anger. I know exactly what it was. It was shaming and punishing her. It was, oh my God, see, you don't care about me. Look at me dragging your name all over the mud and make you look like the cheated loser. Then he said his wife wanted to work on it. She promised to change everything about herself. She promised to fix the issues in the marriage. And you would say, okay, so if you told her those things to change the marriage and she said she's going to promise to fix anything, didn't you achieve your goal, right? Isn't that what you wanted? Well, not exactly, because he said she became clingy and I couldn't get space. I couldn't get space translates as I couldn't sext with men and women behind her back like I wanted to. So what happened is that eventually they went to therapy and he kept berating her into those posts, and eventually he dumped her. They're going into some kind of no contact separation. That is complete trash to me. I mean, after all the things you've done, you still string the poor woman along. And the icing on the cake is that I found another post where he says, I'm 100% going to get a divorce from her, but if she wants to try to have sex with me or be affectionate, I'm going to take that and then eventually still divorce her. And I saw all of that stuff and it made my stomach turn. I was thinking, oh my God, like, this is how you treat your partner of over 10 years. Imagine how you would treat anyone else. And I sat down and did some thinking. And first of all, it was like, oh my God, I dodged a bullet. Second, it was, I would look at myself for 2 years ago that was devastated over this joke of a man. And I would think like, wow, I wish someone told me those things back then. And I make this video today for whoever needs it, because people actually held me so back in my recovery with their advice. And I'm going to tell you, if you have been heartbroken by a narcissist or hurt by a narcissist in general, those are the things that they didn't work for me, and I'm going to tell you what did work for me. I'm not a mental health professional, but I literally pulled myself up by the bootstraps when there was no one there for me, and if I can do it, so can you. The first thing is just move on. When you have massive trauma bonding with someone, you can just move on. That advice is ignorant at best, stupid, and malicious at worst. For me, it was double as hard because we worked online in the same spaces, so he was everywhere, we had a shared fan base, and I couldn't go no contact because that means I would lose 90% of my income. So I would try to endure and ignore as much as I could, but I told myself I'm going to move on when I'm ready, at my own pace, and I don't care about people shaming me for not moving on. And there were so many people shaming me for that when they haven't been on where I've been. And also my ex was constantly trying to contact me from fake accounts. He still does, but it becomes easier and easier to ignore the person and just block them. The second thing is that people are going to tell you a bunch of stuff, but you're not going to be ready to accept them. So it's better to just embrace your feelings, especially the anger, because that's what's going to transform you. People were saying to me the truth. I went to so many supportive places, and people were saying to me, he doesn't treat his wife better than he treated you. He doesn't love you. Look at all of the things he did. And I would be saying, yeah, but he's still with her, yeah, but look at what he's writing about here. I wasn't ready to accept it. And looking back, it's not that I was a masochist, because I asked myself, like, are you a masochist? Why couldn't you just accept it? It's because I couldn't accept that he's that trash of a person. I still had feelings for him. So if I accepted that he treats his wife like trash, his wife that sees pretty much the wallet and the nurse and the mommy and everything for his crypto-homosexual failed ass, that meant that I was also in love with the trash at the time, and I couldn't cope with that. So I started to become angry, and there were times where I tried so hard to bring results, and I use my anger as a motivator. And people are going to say this is unhealthy. I don't care. If I wasn't angry, I would have to be in bed crying or sick or depressed or something else. So I was like, really? You are the one who's going to tell me that I'll never be anything when your entire life is a hand-me-down from your uncle. He got into college because his uncle had connections. He got a scholarship because his uncle had connections. I got into college by passing entrance exams completely alone without my parents supporting me, and I graduated while working. So this person who says you'll never be anything can talk down on me when he relies on his uncle for everything. And his uncle also found that arranged marriage for him. I'm not desperate enough to need my daddy to buy me a spouse like him and his wife. The other thing that I want to advise you is that even when there is no light at the end of a tunnel, keep going. And by keep going, I mean keep improving yourself any way possible. There were days that I would get up and I would have to do YouTube. I would have to answer messages, and I was thinking, this is also pointless. I just want to break down and start crying, because I was the person that I was never on YouTube. I kind of became a YouTuber because my ex-husband, it was his dream to be a YouTuber, and I kind of tried to be supportive. So it became part of my revenge. That my ex's dream was to be a YouTuber, so I'm going to be a YouTuber to show him. I know it sounds childish, but it was a useful cope at the time. And there were times that I was thinking, this is stupid, I don't want to do this anymore, I just want to disappear, I just want to stop making videos. And I forced myself to sit down and keep doing that. So if you try to lose the weight, if you try to build a business, if you try to go back to school and it feels like, what's the point? Tell yourself, I'm going to get through today. I'm going like day by day, hour by hour if you have to. Self-development is never going to fail you. People will fail you, but self-development is never going to fail you. Do you know why? Because doing all of that stuff, getting from a loner to someone with a digital business, changed me as a person. It gave me something that I never had before with my narcissistic parents. It gave me pride of self. Because when you grow up hearing you're autistic, you're ugly, you're weird, you're this, you're that, you internalize it. Even though I've been to therapy and even though I heard and I've read that this is not true, I was still carrying that inside me. But when results started coming, when money started coming in, when people started saying thank you, you changed my life, you helped me start my own business, then I couldn't be the same person anymore. Then I started thinking like, why am I putting up with this shit? And I will never forget, there was a time when I hit 10,000 subscribers, that the exact time My ex had sent some insulting message from a fake account, like very insulting. I remember it was him because of his very easy to distinguish writing style. So I remember thinking for the first time, I have 10,000 subscribers and you're a failed YouTuber. Who are you to talk to me like that? I know it sounds narcissistic, but I was not going to be anymore the woman who just sits there and hears some loser man telling her, you'll never be anything. Because we are doing the same thing and you insult me, yet you failed on it. So reclaim your self-respect slowly by finding areas in your life that you can eventually be proud of. And just telling to yourself that's not true or I'm worthy, for me it wasn't working. It was just lip service and I wasn't getting it, like in my soul, in my heart, I wasn't believing it. The other thing is that you can read strategic books. I always recommend The Art of War, which is an ancient book that's very useful, that says if you wait long enough by the river, the bodies of your enemies may come floating to you. So I didn't do anything. I didn't try to find his wife. I didn't try to stalk after some point. I didn't have time. If I had time, I would be doing it. And here is the information that he's as miserable as ever, that his marriage failed. And it's so ironic that the affairs that he had were the thing that kept his marriage going, that when his wife became clingy and they had to spend a lot of time together, he realized how insufferable he finds her, how ugly he finds her, and all of that stuff. And I'm not saying I don't know the person, but that's how he describes her as. So men respond to no contact much better than to communication and negotiation. He needed to be alone with her to realize that they had truly nothing in common. And there was someone who asked me recently, and he said, I also heard that he left his wife, so isn't that great? And once the pandemic is over, wouldn't you go back together with this person or meet this person in real life? And I thought about it, and the answer is one big no. I'm not interested. So is this really a win? Saying that, this person's marriage failed, and now, you know that in nature, the parasite, once the host is dying, it has a few hours to find another host, otherwise the parasite dies too. So now that this wallet and fleshlight is dying, he's going to come to me, the other wallet and fleshlight. I'm sorry. I cannot see myself like getting back with this person, being friends with this person, or in general having any kind of contact with this person who is, first of all, attracted to men. I'm a woman. I can't be with someone who's attracted to men. And second, because of all the things that he has done, that they were unfair, abusive, and sadistic. So if you are going through a breakup with a narcissist or abuse, remember those things. They are not capable of working on themselves the right way. They are not capable of attracting people long term. My ex had posts where he says that he's trying to date online, and after 5 interactions, people block him because he's toxic. That's why they block him. And I wasn't blocking him because I had poor boundaries. And keep working on yourself, and they are going to come back. And if you have done the work the right way, you will not want them. I don't want my ex back. And if you asked me 2 years ago, would that ever happen? I would say, no way, we're soulmates with my ex. Yeah. So I'm saying those things because if you are a woman who have been cheated on, it's not even about you. I don't think now that it was even about me or his wife. He was mad at his wife because he was on the devaluation stage with her, and he was just using online people to triangulate her, to degrade her. And I realize now that he wrote that letter to me because his marriage had already failed, that he said my wife has absolutely no problem with you, when of course his wife is a normal person and she had a lot of problems with him degrading her. So all I'm saying right now is, okay, I have to get this cat away from me. Come on. All I'm going to say is give yourself time, be angry, allow yourself to feel any emotion that you're feeling. Close your eyes and your ears to advice. I had to block so many people advising me nonsense that they didn't work for me. And every time you feel, that worked for me, although it sounds like simplistic, every time I felt that I want to vent, I would first journal my feelings, and then I would go do a single thing that helped me move forward. I would say, I feel bad, I'm just going to take a walk around the block. I feel bad, so I'm just going to go out, buy groceries, and try creating a new healthy recipe. I'm going to read to find a new video topic, or I'm going to buy a book, or even find a free book on Kindle. You can find free books, you can find books that they are really cheap, and do something to take myself to the next step. I'm not going to sit there stalking, obsessing, feeling like a victim. You can be a victim temporarily and turn it all around. I would never have this business, I would never have this following if it wasn't for my ex. If it wasn't for all the stuff that happened. So in that sense, I'm grateful, because I could be probably stuck in some kind of boring job that wouldn't even pay me. So maybe sometimes the narcissist can be the catalyst for you to be the person you want to be, or to meet someone even better. And I'm saying those things because I know how lonely it can be, I know how devastating it can be, and sometimes you just have to go through it. There is no shortcut. And a lot of people want solutions now. A lot of people, like, I'm keep repeating this because it really bothered me that people shamed me and they would say, why don't you just move on? If they have not been in your shoes, if they didn't have those relationships, just ignore them. Endure and ignore until you can do better. And to my ex, that I'm sure he's going to watch this video, you are a very, like, badly aging, balding, out of shape man. So please stay with your wife if she's begging you to stay, and go to couples therapy, because I'm out of your league now. Okay, because I'm so sure he's stalking my channel, so I'm not going to even bother with you now. And I know that my ex has a lot of delusions, and he still thinks that I think about him all the time, or I try to get him back. I'm saying it here once and for all, I don't. I'm so much happy for the first time in my life to not be threatened by something, running away from something, coping from something, to actually have the money and the time and the luxury to figure myself out, something I should have done like when I was 18 or 17, but I had my parents, and when other people were figuring themselves out, I was busy surviving with a narcissist. So the last thing I want to do is to find some miserable old man who's addicted to playing mind games, and after their 3 times of interacting with someone, he needs to, like, start insulting them to feel better because he's a loser. And I know that narcissists don't seek help, so I would tell him seek help, but I know he's not going to seek it because, you know, he's, like, better than all of us. So I'm not interested in meeting anyone narcissistic or toxic, and it's not because of the pandemic, it's because of my ex became someone who's not good enough. And I'm not going to be in a relationship with someone so insecure that he has to constantly cheat with women and with men. If I realized that I'm gay, I would embrace it, and I would try to be in a fulfilling relationship with someone of the same gender. I wouldn't be around trying to troll people, to use them as beards, and to degrade them. And for some time, to close this video, for some time I felt so bad about it, so humiliated, like, look, this gay person tried to use me as a beard. Then I realized, why should I be the one who is embarrassed? He should be embarrassed. Like, I'm not the one faking entire relationships here. And I say that because a lot of gay people get celebrated when they come out, which is a good thing, but I don't think that they should be celebrated. The small percentage of gay people using a straight person for 10 years, for 20 years, living a lie and then dumping them. His marriage is a lie. He was never attracted to his wife, it was all arranged, he married her for my stability and security. I'm sorry, my standards are very high now. Having high standards protects you from low experiences. So unless someone has, like, true connection, true compatibility, he doesn't have a harem of exes, of narcissistic supply and all of that stuff, I'm not interested. And the people who are saying you're going to die alone, it's better to die alone than to die every day with bad company, okay? Thank you for watching.